800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog.
I'm Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog. You know, when I get the hankering for a hot dog, I go to Cleveland, Texas. Just a couple blocks off the square, they got Loafing Dog. They got the Neely Dog, the Mary Sunshine Dog, the Casey Dog, and the Shirley Dog. Why, they even got the Pacer Dog, the Brooklyn Dog, and the Jim Dog. Can't forget the Shane Dog, or the Joy Dog, and the Monty Dog. I like that fool. The Nakia Dog and the Braxton Dog round things off. Why, they even got a kids menu too.
Loafing Dog, 208 East Chambers Street, Cleveland, Texas. Lunch, catering, or takeout, plus outdoor seating. Phone number is 817-556-1040.
This is Wilford Brimley. And don't forget, Loafing Dog won't give you diabetes.
Out of deck carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
The voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio. Welcome to the Her Show, Home Experience Radio, with your host, Trina Titus Lozano. This is a live call-in show that takes your calls and questions about marriage, family, and personal relationships. She's a licensed and ordained pastoral counselor, author, international conference speaker, wife, mom, and grandmother. She's been counseling and teaching vital relationship skills for over 30 years. Trina is real and relational and reveals strong truths spoken in tough love and common sense. Join us on the studio line now at 817-637-2585. And now, here's Trina.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Her Show. I'm Trina Titus Lozano, pastoral counselor, licensed and ordained Christian minister, and your host for the Her Show every Monday here on Joco Community Radio from 2 to 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. So tomorrow is Valentine's Day. I hope you are prepared because you've had plenty of time to prepare. And if you are headed out to Target or any other retail store to get your Valentine's things, they might be pretty picked over now, okay? So I'm just hoping that you have prepared. If not, there are still flowers everywhere and candy and cards and other little goodies that you can that you can just spoil your loved one with and your children. And if you are single, be sure you find someone that you make feel special today. My mom had a motto, make every day special. And I know some people sort of resist Valentine's Day because they say it's all commercial, but listen, we need to make every day special, right? Every day should be a day of love. That's what we want to do. We want to make every day special. For sure, we want to make our home an atmosphere of love and peace. Love and peace. As my mom used to say, without peace, love isn't believed. Have you ever noticed that? Somebody might say, I love you. But if there's not peace, if there is chaos, if there is arguing and complaining, then love isn't believed. If there is bickering and nagging, love isn't believed. So let's all be on our very best behavior tomorrow and make our loved ones feel and be able to express love in a way that they will feel love and they will want to give love back to you. And there will just be all kinds of love going on. That is my desire for you. So I am going to give you an hour worth of great advice to help make your relationships last. Okay. So I'm going to begin by just giving you some advice from my family. And if you know my mom and dad, Larry and Debbie Titus, my mom just passed away last month, but they were married almost 60 years, and my grandparents were married 70 years. And these are incredible examples that were in my personal life, and no divorce in my family or in my husband's family, going back generationally. And so I hope that you know that the difference between people who stay married and people who don't is they stay married. Okay, that's like the big difference. But there are tips and tricks that can really make a difference. So I want to tell you, my mom and dad just impacted our life so much with the example of how well they loved and respected each other. I never heard, and when I say never, I'm not using that word frivolously. I'm not exaggerating when I say I never, ever one time heard my parents talk disrespectfully to each other. I never heard them swear at each other. I never heard them put each other down. Isn't that amazing? And here we go, back one more generation. Not only my parents, my grandparents. I never heard my grandparents disrespecting or putting each other down. My parents and grandparents, this is the thing that they knew, is that when you love someone, you don't allow yourself to hurt them. As my mom said in her final last words, we never hurt each other on purpose. We never hurt each other on purpose. And that's the thing. Life gets lifey, and sometimes we get emotional, and sometimes we do things that we regret because of our humanity, right? But they didn't do anything on purpose. My grandfather was overheard one day giving some advice to a friend, and they said, "What is your secret of lasting love?" And my grandfather said, I have never, I will never do, say, or hurt anything that would hurt Alita. I would never, let me say that again. I didn't say it correctly. I would never do, say, or be anything that would hurt Alita. I would never do, say, or be anything that would hurt Alita. That is great advice. Now, that's a commitment. That is a key to a successful, long lasting love life. Don't ever do, say, or be anything that would hurt the other person. So I've got all these tips. If you want to count, there you go. I just gave you 2, but I'm just going to keep on going. Stephen Covey has some that I think are always worth repeating. And of course, I put my own twist on it, the 7 habits of highly effective people. And as it relates to marriage, and as I put my twist on it, number 1, be proactive. Okay. Say hello and goodbye. Okay, at the very least, let's be polite to each other. Okay, this is the key to long lasting love. Say hello and goodbye. When somebody walks in the door, stop what you're doing, greet them at the door, and say, "Hi, welcome home. Some retail spaces have adapted this policy where someone walks in the door, they say, "Hi, welcome in." And we must do that for someone that we love to feel loved and appreciated and noticed and welcomed. Okay, just stop what you're doing. Welcome them home. Greet them with a hug and a kiss and just say, "Welcome home. I miss you. How was your day?" And just say hello at the very least right away. And then when it's time to leave, say goodbye. Don't just walk out the door. Say, "Hey, I'm ready to go. I'm leaving now. I'll see you at 5 o'clock," or whatever it is. So say hello and goodbye. Okay, y'all. It is the little things that are the big things. Remember that. It's the little things that are the big things. So be proactive. Be proactive with the little things. And ultimately, this is going to make a big impact with the big things. Be proactive in planning to eat your meals together. Okay, this is a big thing that we talk about at the home experience. We talk about the benefit of setting the table, planning your family meal, preparing it. And if you're not a cook, okay, it doesn't matter if you're doing semi homemade or if you're picking up takeout, but dump it out of the paper bags. Put it on plates. Sit around the table at home. Sit around your table at home so that you can have eye to eye, face to face conversation. Be proactive. My table, I already set for tonight. Okay. And so that's the thing. You prepare in the morning for your evening meal. Be proactive. Okay. So for tomorrow, you want to prepare for Valentine's Day. If you try to get reservations right now, you won't be able to get them because every restaurant in town is already packed out. But you know what would even be more special is for you to plan a meal. Okay, a home cooked meal. Set the table. All right, use a heart shaped cookie cutter and bake cookies, or even if you're going to make breakfast for your Valentine, cut out your toast in the shape of a heart. Be proactive. So if you cut out your piece of bread in the shape of a heart, you will have a heart shaped piece of toast, and then you will have a square with a heart-shaped hole in it. And so, with that square toast, you can put that bread straight in the skillet, crack your egg inside of it. The egg will stay inside the heart-shaped hole, okay? Let it cook and then flip it over and you will have an egg inside of a heart in the square piece of bread, and then the toaster will pop up and then you will have the heart-shaped toast to go along with it. Isn't that a great idea? There you go. That is being intentional. You might have to get up 20 minutes early to be intentional to make breakfast for your loved one. Why not? Be proactive, be intentional. It's Valentine's Day. You know what? It doesn't even cost money, but it does take time. It takes effort. It takes being intentional and being proactive. Okay, so the next one is begin with the end in mind. Okay, as you begin your relationship, think about the end. As you are dating and working towards engagement, or just thinking about engagement, think about what will your life be like with this person 50 years from now? My husband and I will be celebrating our 40th wedding anniversary. Okay, so we have been together 41 years and almost 42 years. So we are celebrating our 40th wedding anniversary. Okay, but when you are dating, think about what it will be like to be married to this person 50 years from now. Now, you won't know exactly, right? Because we don't know the future and everyone changes. However, begin with the end in mind. So, what's it going to look like 50 years from now if every day you say hello and goodbye? What's it going to look like 50 years from now if you eat meals together at home, at your table? If you eat breakfast together instead of just running out the door, what about if you ate breakfast together? What about if you ate dinner together? What about if you ate breakfast and dinner together most days of the week? That's going to be a great life. That's going to be a great partnership, right? So begin with the end in mind. Okay, number 3, put first things first. All right, prioritize, put first things first. For your relationship to be successful, it's got to be your priority. Jimmy Evans with Marriage on the Rock talks about the law of priority, and it's true. And it begins in the book of Genesis. We can see where it says, man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. And of course, this is not gender specific. It means both of you are going to have to leave and cleave. That is a law of priority. That means that your parents and your family of origin begin to be your extended family. And once you get married, then together you are each other's priority. You become your own family unit, and everyone else is the extended family. So you have to keep in mind, this is my priority. First things first is my family and my marriage. So my family of origin becomes my extended family. All right. So get your priorities right. Now, if your loving relationship has a foundation of faith, there's a priority that will impact the way that your relationship handles life. Okay. Because when you have a God foundation, when you have Jesus and a relationship with God as your foundation, and you're an authentic Christian or an authentic Catholic, whatever the case may be, if you're authentic about your faith, when you're authentic about your faith, what happens is this presents a foundation of a loving relationship. Okay. And I'm not going to sit here and mention every type of faith you could possibly have. So, whatever you want to call it, I'm just here telling you, whatever brand you want to put on your faith, I'm just telling you, you need to know God. You need to know God, and God needs to be the foundation of your loving relationship, because the Bible provides a framework for what a loving relationship is. In 1 Corinthians chapter 13, we call this the love chapter. It says, love is patient. You're willing to wait for it. Just think of how impatience impacts your relationship negatively. Okay, it's destructive, right? Love is patient, love is kind, love is not jealous, it does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude. Love does not keep an account of a wrong suffered. In other words, love forgives, okay? What else does it do? It believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. How is this possible? What's possible when your love has a faith based foundation? Love and faith always go together. And so, keep that in mind. That is the way that you can be successful, is if you keep first things first. The Bible says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. So first things first is really love God first, and then love myself enough that I am not self-harming, that I am not even, I'm not, when you've got a healthy self-esteem, you are confident that who you are impacts another person for the positive, for the better. When you have a positive self-esteem and when you have a confident attitude about yourself, there's not insecurity. See, insecurity impacts a relationship so negatively. It is one of the most destructive qualities a person can have. But whenever we put first things first, we put God first, we put our own self-worth and confidence first, then we can love each other as ourselves in a way that our life impacts them so positively, because our entire purpose when we get up every day is, what can I do to make your life better? As my mom says, what can I do to make this day special, not for myself, but for you, but for my friends, my family, my husband, my parents, the people that I love, especially for the person that you are in love with romantically, and especially on Valentine's Day. Prioritize them. That person that you are in a romantic relationship with, a husband, a wife, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever relationship that you are in that is a romantic relationship, prioritize that person tomorrow, okay? Prioritize that person tomorrow. Whatever it takes, make them your priority tomorrow. I know that Valentine's Day is on a Tuesday. I know. So, that being said, it's okay. My husband is even working out of town tomorrow. And so collectively, we decided that we would celebrate Valentine's Day next weekend, the weekend actually after Valentine's Day. In fact, we are speaking at a local Valentine's banquet, and that's going to be a lot of fun, giving tips for marriage at this banquet and giving advice, and just really being an example and sharing our story. But it's going to be fun, and we're going to make it special. But tomorrow, you better believe he's going to be the first person that I talk to when I wake up in the morning. Okay. And vice versa. So, prioritize. That is all about attitude. That's all about attitude. Okay. Put first things first. And this is the thing, when you're putting first things first, this is a values based decision. Okay. Because when we are looking at our priorities, God and our family and our marriage and our family, and we're looking at our priorities, you have to know what your values are because your values will determine your priorities. And really, you can take a look at your bank account. How do you spend your money? How do you spend your time? And you can pretty much see, are my priorities in line with my values? And if they're not, that's part of the reason why there is some chaos in your heart and in your soul. Okay, what you want to do is you want to make the adjustment so that there's an integrity. I always say integrity is an integration, meaning a coming together of what you believe and how you behave. And when there's this integration, there's this integrity in your life where what you believe lines up with how you behave. This is a values based relationship. This is a values based identity that you have for yourself and for your relationship. And that's going to create success. That's how you know how to put first things first, is because it's all about your values, your family values, your marriage values. Um, Okay, so number 4, think win-win. All right, listen, y'all, you are on the same team. When you are in a romantic relationship, you have to know you're on the same team. When you are married, you're on the same team. Always, always. And you, of course, are 2 different people. You have different opinions, you have different backgrounds, you have different schedules, but you have the same goals. You're working together, going the same direction. If you were on the same football team, I don't know if you enjoyed the Super Bowl as much as I did yesterday. Wow, what a great game. And boy, I wish the Cowboys would have been in there, but it was fun. And I don't know if you know Kansas City history, little sidetrack here, but Kansas City history is actually that team began in Texas. So I don't know. I was a little happy about that. Of course, if the Eagles won, I would have, said, well, the Cowboys beat them on Christmas Eve. So, you never know. But anyway, it was disappointing that the Cowboys were not in the Super Bowl, but it was a great game, a great game. So, condolences to all the Eagles fans. I know they had high hopes, and I have a lot of friends that are Eagles fans. But anyway, I'm happy for Kansas City again. I think Patrick Mahomes did a great job, and bless his heart, I think he ended up with a little bit of an injury again. But anyway, okay, I divert. Let's go back to the beginning of what I'm talking about here before I should say I digress. That's what I was doing. I was digressing. Okay, so but yeah, we need to think win-win. We're on the same team, going the same direction with the same values. Okay, we are able to synergize. We're able to brainstorm solutions, all right? We understand the importance of working together, of the teamwork. We always say teamwork makes the dream work. And I remind people that in a healthy marriage, there is a separateness without a loss of togetherness and a togetherness without a loss of separateness. Okay. We have our individual jobs, we have our individual roles, we have our individual schedules. However, we're on the same team. It's just like, we don't need 2 pitchers. If you're on a baseball team, you've got one person pitching, one person on first base. I mean, the whole family is going to be having different roles, okay? But we're all on the same team. Same thing with the football team or the soccer team or the basketball team, whatever the case may be. Sports fans out there, just keep in mind everybody has their own role. We have our own position. One is not more important than the other, but we're all working together. And when everybody wins, we all win. But when you lose, we all lose. So we want to have a win-win attitude, and we want to work together. Sometimes the way to do this is we need to seek first to understand, and then second to be understood. And, when we get in our little huddle there, still going on this sports analogy, when we get in our little huddle, before you just let your emotions run away with you, think about what is happening and listen and seek to understand what is happening and what position you need to be in to pull off the next play. Really be strategic. And so it's going to require you listening. And then after you listen, when you have the opportunity, when it's the right time, then that's when you speak. You want to speak with a voice that is good communication, okay? Not just charged with emotion or profanity or frustration. For goodness sakes, it doesn't do any good. And before you know it, you're going to be sidelined and you're going to say, how did I get here? Why is my marriage failing? And that's why, quite often, is because you haven't learned to be a good listener. So seek first to understand and then to be understood. Be a good listener. Ask them for feedback. And when they give you feedback about how you can better play your position, well, then listen to the feedback, because when you do a better job, we all win, right? It's the same team. You know, I have noticed some people are just competitive. And even in a marriage and even in a family where they're competing, who has the most successful business, who is able to, with whatever the competition is, who looks the best. Okay. It's like, come on, don't compete. Just encourage each other. Just be positive and encouraging to each other. Um, but not competitive. Not competitive. Okay, so you're going to get the feedback. That reminds me of a scripture in 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 Proverbs. It talks about iron sharpening iron. Proverbs has some scriptures that says if you just flatter each other, what good is that? Okay, I want you to be positive. I want you to be very complimentary. In fact, Dr. John Gottman says that with every put down, you have to replace it with 5 compliments. Okay, there's this 5-to-1 rule. Okay, it's not just 1-to-1. Okay, so that being said, with every put down and there's 5 compliments, just know you need to be able to hear some feedback. And even if it feels like criticism, even if they have the bad intent and they are being critical of you, and maybe you feel so hurt and all you can think of is just being defensive, it's not going to benefit the relationship. So you want to choose to drop your guard, set your defenses down, and think about the benefit of getting that feedback. That is the emotional intelligence that will help you. Okay. That is the emotional intelligence that will help the relationship, because it is impossible to have self awareness without getting feedback from someone else. So, the scripture that talks about iron sharpening iron, that is iron sharpening iron. That means that, oh man, it feels like a rough spot here, but you know what? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? So you go through that rough spot, it's like iron sharpening iron. Do you have a knife sharpener? Have you ever seen a knife sharpener? And you rub that knife on the knife sharpener, and it might be iron, and it'll make the knife sharper, right? And it's very difficult to cook even with a dull knife. You need that sharpness for your marriage to be really great and be very successful. And yes, so Dr. Covey, he talks about sharpening the saw. Sharpening the saw. That is the benefit of a close relationship, is that you actually are able to sharpen each other. And even when you go through hard times, as I say, when life gets lifey, you go through hard times, but it's not the end of the story. And you will actually make each other sharper and stronger as a result of going through those hard times. Now, it's going to require you being a learner, okay? And I think that is so important. I always recommend the book His Needs, Her Needs, because you can literally learn, and there are thousands of books, thousands of YouTube videos, thousands of podcasts. Okay. There is so much information. Here we are in the information age. There's no excuse to learn how to be a good wife, how to be a good husband. You know, find out, what are men's needs? What are women's needs? What would my wife's needs typically be? And here's the thing, maybe your wife is not exactly the way the books say that most women are. She might have her little idiosyncrasies, or your husband may have his little things that are a little bit different than what the book says. But mostly, you will find so much information that will be so helpful. So be a learner, okay? Be proactive, be a learner, and make up your mind. I'm going to be the best lover I could be. And it's going to be a real benefit on Valentine's Day. All right, stick with me after the break. I'm Trina, and I'll be right back.
At Romika Designs, we're more than just a laser engraving and specialty design company. Much more. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs, and if you can dream it, we can probably make it. We can custom laser cut and engrave on nearly all material. Great for one-of-a-kind gifts, home decor, business and specialty items, or personalized and logo designs created just for you or your company. Allow us to become your go-to gift and specialty project partner. Romika Designs can help make your ideas a reality. We're ready to help you design and create that special gift for any occasion, or engrave your personal or business logo on just about any product. View our designs at romikadesigns.com, or simply email us with your ideas. We specialize in custom design and would be honored to have the opportunity to discuss it with you. Call us at 817-400-4040, email info@romikadesigns.com, or visit us on the web at romikadesigns.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
Out-of-date carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleburne, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleburne, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
You're listening to JoCo Community Radio.
JoCo Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoCo.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch, and the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices, so simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more at JoCo Community Radio. This episode and more is brought to you by Next Level Claims, making your insurance work for you. So reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844-TEX.HAIL. That's 844-839-4245. And also be sure to dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com. There's the best accessory you'll ever have. That is at thetiffy.com. TheTiffie.com. So thank you to our sponsors. And I am going to continue talking about relationships and how to have the best relationship of your life, a lifelong lasting relationship. You know, the world that we live in today, many people have never seen it. They've never experienced it. They have no idea how to even do it. And I think people really overcomplicate it. I think that they don't realize that you have to take it seriously. I think people assume that the person that they are in a romantic relationship with is more resilient than they really are, because people do very, very, very hurtful things. And then they just sort of have this expectation that somehow that's not going to affect the relationship in such a terrible way. And I had learned about the love bank back when I was reading a book about the love languages, probably in the 90s, early 90s. And it talked about the love bank. And the love bank was this concept that whoever that you're in a relationship with, it's like you're opening an account in the bank. And so, whatever interaction you have with each interaction, you are either making a deposit or a withdrawal. If it's a positive interaction, then you are making a deposit. If it is a negative interaction, you are making a withdrawal. Well, I think that oftentimes in romantic relationships, people just assume that they can withdraw, 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 and they're not going to end up being bankrupt in the relationship. And it does not work that way. So, from the beginning of the relationship, and specifically after there is a commitment, don't forget to keep making the deposits. What happens in our humanity is that you want what you can't get, and once you want it, you don't. And once you got it, you don't want it. There you go. You want what you can't get, and once you got it, you don't want it. So you don't treat people as well after they are committed to you. This is a huge problem. This is a huge problem in the world that we live in today. Okay. So people are afraid to make a commitment. And then once they do make a commitment, they start treating each other worse after the commitment, because there's this entitlement mentality of, okay, well, now that we're engaged or married, well, now I can sort of let my guard down and just treat you, however I want. Maybe sometimes I'll neglect you if I don't really feel like doing things that would bless you. Maybe sometimes I just say whatever I feel like because I'm in a bad mood or I had a bad day. Listen, those things are hurtful and they damage the relationship. So there begins to be this withdrawal, and Dr. Gottman says that one withdrawal requires at least 5 big deposits to make it up. And Jimmy Evans has a funny thing that he says. He says, and everything you all the deposits that you made yesterday, you're going to have to make them again today. Like they expire, you're going to have to keep depositing and depositing all the time. And it's true. So we really have to think with the mentality of all day, every day, I need to be making deposits into this relationship. This is critical. The rules of the peace builders are these things: give up put downs, right wrongs, notice hurts, seek wise people, and praise people. And back in California in the early 80s, one of the communities that had a very high crime rate, they put together this campaign called the Rules of the Peace Builders. And in this campaign, they determined that they were going to turn around their community and the crime rate would surely be affected and the community would be safer and more peaceful. And so these were the rules of the peace builders that they campaigned all throughout the community. Okay, so this were the police officers and the schools and the libraries and the churches and all of the public service people that were cooperating. All were cooperating with this campaign. Billboards, ad campaigns, everything. Give up put downs, right wrongs, seek wise people, praise people. Give up put downs, right wrongs, seek wise people, praise people. Oh, and notice hurts. Okay. So think about it. Give up put downs. Well, if you were able to do these things out in your community, at the very least, think about how this would impact your romantic relationship and the peace in your relationship at home. Okay, because we want to have peace both in the workplace and with our neighbors, but even more importantly, at home. We want to have peace at home. We want to have peace in the bedroom. We not want to have peace outside the bedroom. We want to have peace on trash day. We want to have peace if we forgot to take out the trash. Okay, we need to have peace. So give up put downs, right wrongs, notice hurts, seek wise people, and praise people. Rules of the peace builder. So implement this into your life, okay? And be proactive, like I said, and continue to make these deposits with the love bank and be a peace builder. Dr. John Gottman, he says that one of the main things that we really need to do is nurture the fondness and admiration. Okay. It reminded me of a scripture that says, whatever is good and pure and lovely and of good report, think on these things. Okay. Whatever is good. I know there are times, and I went through this with my marriage, that I struggled to think of something that I really admired about my husband. Now, I had admired lots about him over the years. But then when he went through his midlife crisis and he began to walk away from our marriage and get involved in a relationship with another woman and then wanted to come back to our marriage, I had to be very intentional to think about what I admired about him. Okay, for a marriage to last, for it to survive events like adultery, addiction, anger, abuse, abandonment. Okay, if these things are chronic, a marriage cannot survive because these things are not compatible with a loving relationship. However, if they are an event, you can and should get past it. You can and should forgive it, forgive yourself, forgive them. Let grace and mercy and love cover. The Bible says love covers a multitude of sin. But when you're coming back into the relationship after there's been a betrayal of your trust because of any of these things that have happened, again, adultery, addiction, abandonment, abuse, or anger, and there's been a betrayal of trust of these one or more of these events, situations, in order to move past it, you've got to find something you admire and really force yourself mentally to think on that thing. Like that is the thing that you just think about. And as soon as your mind starts going to all of the negativity, pull it back around and be like, no, 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 I got to focus on this. See, it's like a magnifying glass. Whatever you focus on gets bigger, right? So if you focus on the event of the adultery or whatever, if you keep focusing on that, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But if you focus on something good, then the good things or the good thing, if it's only one thing for starters, it gets bigger and bigger. That is the benefit of focus. There's a magnification of what you focus on. So focus on the positive, focus on something good, and that will get bigger. And that is your starting place. And you've got to hold on to this. Research shows that you cannot lose your fondness and admiration for the other person. You cannot lose it. You must really discipline yourself to appreciate your husband or wife. You must determine, I will appreciate them. I will focus on the good things. I will thank them for what they do day in and day out. I will notice the little things and make a big deal out of it. And I will encourage them and I will speak encouraging words and positivity. You know, your words have such power. The Bible says that there is life and death. So in the power of your tongue, we speak either life or death. So men, watch what you say to your wives because she's not just resilient and gonna get over it. Those words hurt. And if you're saying hurtful words, don't expect that she's just gonna be able to get over it easily. And wives, if you're saying hurtful words to your husband, you cannot have an expectation that they'll be able to get over that easily. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Watch what you say. Speak life. Be encouraging. Speak with respect and fondness and admiration and love. This is the foundation of a healthy relationship. And I believe this is the number one principle really of love is is to think on the good things. I think that it is impossible to have a healthy relationship without the focus on the good things, without focus on the good things. That's very important. Okay, so this is another little practical tip. Turn toward each other to give each other your full attention. So yesterday, I was in the kitchen preparing for the Super Bowl party. So as you can imagine, our guests were due to arrive in about 15 minutes. And my husband comes in and he says, "Okay, I want to talk to you about the remodeling project that we're doing. So we have a house that we are uh, remodeling, and so he is the contractor, so he's in charge of the job. I'm the designer, so I'm in charge of the selections." And he just said, "Okay, we need to have a conversation about this. Tell me what you want with, A, B, and C." So I told him what I wanted. Then he and he goes, "Okay, no, I need your full attention. Can you stop what you're doing and give me your full attention?" So I said, "Yeah, yeah, you have my full attention. I just told you what I want. That was it." Okay. And he goes, "No, you're still working. I don't have your full attention." And he asked me, I'm embarrassed to tell you, he asked me 3 times to give him my full attention. Finally, I said, "Okay, well, instead of standing in the kitchen, let's go sit in here." So we sat in our little sitting room where our chairs faced each other. I said, "Okay, I'm gonna sit here and just look at you so you know that you have my full attention." Because even when I was in the kitchen and not doing anything, he would see me sort of be thinking about what I needed to do next. So we finally sat in the chair. I repeated to him what I wanted. He wrote it down. We got through the conversation with good, clear communication. All right. So this is so important. Okay. So be sure that you turn towards each other and that you give each other your full attention. And this should be happening frequently. This is more complicated now than it has ever been in our world because of our phones. And we're all guilty of it because we work from home. I work from home, my husband works from home, and even though we both have offices, when we're home, we're still working, right? And so where are we working? We're working with our phone, we're working from our phone, so it has our full attention. It takes such discipline to put that phone aside and to put it on silent and to simply give each other the full attention. But this is critical for a lasting, loving relationship. Okay, y'all, especially on Valentine's Day. So, get all your work done today, prepare for tomorrow, because especially on Valentine's Day, when you have quality time together, put your phone away. Put it in the other room. I have a discipline. I plug in my phone every night in the living room and don't have it near my bed. Because if I do, inevitably, I will reach over and grab my phone. I will find a million reasons to look at something. And the minute I set my phone back down, another idea pops into my head. "Oh, I should check the weather." And then I'll look at that. And then another thing will pop into my head. "Oh, I wonder if that person emailed me back." Whatever it is. Okay, no. Put your phone away, plug it in the other room so you have a break. Your brain needs a break from your phone. You do. You need a break. Trust me, you need a break. And your romantic relationship needs you to take a break from your phone so that you guys can be together, fully together, uninterrupted by the phones. So that is probably the most important advice I can give you. And listen, I'm giving it to myself also. I am with you. Okay. We are doing this together. And this is so important that we all do what we hear. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, "Let's not just be hearers, but be doers." Okay. We don't want to just be hearers of the word, but doers of the word. We want to do what we know we need to do. And that's so important. Okay. So when you have problems, here's what I see in my office. There are 3 different types of problems. Okay. There are problems that are solvable. There are problems that are unsolvable, really. And there are other problems, well, unsolvable, I mean, like the couple is just in a gridlock, all right? And then there are perpetual problems where it is the same problem week after week, month after month, year after year. And in order to move forward in your loving romantic relationship, you really need to be able to address these three different types of problems so that you can solve them in a way that is effective. I had a couple one time come in, and their problem that had become a perpetual problem, but it was very solvable. It was that he was always cold and she was always hot. Well, he was actually a small man and she was a very large woman. I'm going to say probably 2 or 3x large woman, okay? I think as a result of that, she was always hot. She was hot, she was sweaty, she needed the air conditioning on, even in the winter, she needed fans on, and he was freezing. Okay, they were in their late 60s and this was a problem. The way she solved the problem, she had him, believe it or not. Okay, I'm not kidding. Sleeping in the garage. Is that terrible or what? Okay, the man's going, "I don't wanna sleep in the garage anymore. I wanna sleep in my own house, in my own room." Okay, and so they came in for marriage counseling. Yes, even though they had been married for 50 years at that point, they still needed marriage counseling, and so they came in. I just told them, "Look, here's what is happening. We are setting the thermostat, and when it is set, it is set, and nobody is allowed to change it. You have to adjust personally." So we set the thermostat to 67 at night and 70 during the day. Okay. I considered both of them and I did what I felt like was the most reasonable, fair, average temperature that would be comfortable for the average person. Okay. And I just told him, "You have to wear extra clothes and have extra blankets and wear a beanie. You have to keep yourself warmer." And I just told her, "You have to wear less clothes, keep the fan blowing on your face, and drink cold drinks. You drink hot beverages." The husband needed to drink hot beverages to warm himself up. She needed to drink cold beverages to cool herself down. But the bottom line is, this was solvable if they both would be considerate to each other. Okay, him sleeping in the garage was not the solution. That is very inconsiderate of him. And she thought that he was being inconsiderate of her because he kept turning the heat up. Well, so as you can imagine, with a thermostat, he would turn it up, she would turn it down, he would turn it up, she would turn it down. Okay, not good. That's what you call a perpetual problem. All right. These things can be solved. In a romantic relationship that's going to last, you have to solve your problem. Okay. If you can't do it on your own in a way that is agreeable with both of you. So learn to communicate, be kind, be tolerant, compromise. Okay. That's what I did when they came to my office. I was like, okay, we're going to have to compromise here and each do whatever you can, but be kind and compassionate for the other person because they're very uncomfortable, just like you're very uncomfortable. How about instead of both of you being very uncomfortable, you both are a little bit uncomfortable, but it's worth it because at least you're together. And so eventually, I was able to convince them to do this. And really, after only one session, the problem was solved and their marriage, they're still married. So it's great. But sometimes there is a real gridlock and people just cannot ad- adapt and adjust. Okay. Well, you're going to be headed for divorce unless you change your attitude about the other person. When there is a gridlock and there are very serious differences in values. Maybe one is a Christian and one is an atheist, and we're in this gridlock of how to raise our kids. Okay, listen, you've got to adapt and adjust. Don't try to change the other person. Okay, love them anyway. You chose them. It's who they are. This is their opinion. Love them anyway. Respect them anyway. And stop. Stop nagging. Stop trying to change their mind. Okay. Just stop. You be you and let them be who they are. Okay. And if they're wrong, okay, well, then let them be wrong. I'm sure you think that they're wrong and they think that you're wrong. But we've got to adapt and adjust for the sake of the relationship. It is not worth losing the relationship just so you can prove that you're right. Okay. Maybe someday they'll agree with you. Maybe someday they won't, but adapt and adjust. In fact, say those 3 words: I will adjust. You need to adjust and adapt so that the marriage won't be lost, because it's just not worth it. If you want to stay together, you have to accept that you can't change this other person. Accept the things you can't change the things you can, and the only thing you can change is you. So you've got to change your attitude. If you can't change the circumstance, change your attitude about the circumstance. That's gonna be what will help your relationship be more romantic. Okay. Also, create shared experiences. Okay. Let your lives blend together. My dad said recently, upon just thinking about and reminiscing about his marriage with my mom and how the two of them were just so unified. And he just said, I don't think married couples know how to be in unity. I don't think they know how to have this togetherness. And he said, okay, that's going to be my next book. And I said, yes, Dad, you need that to be your next book for sure. This is the thing: you've got to create this shared life. Okay, so you have shared schedules, shared goals, you share your meals, you share everything. Marriage is a life of sharing. Okay, sharing is caring. Okay, so share your life. Living separate lives while you're together and married, that's not a marriage. That's not what that is supposed to be. Okay, we're not just roommates, we're not just business partners. You're sharing your life together. So, work together, set goals together, work together at home, work together in business, work together on a project, work together paying your bills and in finances, work together to increase your finances, work together doing research on investments, work together in any way you can. Be together. Like, really, let your lives be be together. I think people are very afraid of being unified, that they will lose themselves. Look, I the Bible is gives us a perfect illustration of this with the Trinity, with the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So, you've got the 3 in 1, the Trinity. Each has complete separate personalities, complete separate responsibilities, and complete separate purpose in their personhood, okay? But yet they're always 100% together, the 3 in 1. The separateness without the loss of togetherness, the togetherness without the loss of separateness. This is the perfect example of a healthy relationship. We know who we are, and we also know that we are better together. And we want to be together. So we share our lives together. So I always correct people when they talk about my house and my kids when they're married. I'm like, okay, first of all, you've got to switch that. It is our house, our bills, our kids, our phone plan, our gym, our in-laws, our everything, our car, our bank account. It's everything is ours. So think about that moving forward in this romantic relationship. Your celebration tomorrow is not just what you're getting for Valentine's Day, it's also what you are giving for Valentine's Day. All right. So keep in mind today what you can give, how you can invest in your relationship, how you can solve the problems. Look at sort of the love map that maybe you could think about. It's in your head. You know your person. What do they love? Surprise them with some of their favorites. And don't push the buttons that you know are their buttons, okay? Especially not tomorrow. Encourage their hopes and dreams, especially tomorrow. Tomorrow's a special day. Yeah, let's make it special. Okay, Valentine's Day is not overrated. Okay, you need to celebrate it. And even if you are single, you know what? I want you to find somebody to be kind to. I want you to find somebody to give a hug to. I want you to reach out and make someone's day special tomorrow. Hey, and if they're cute, that's even better. All right. But listen, you need to make every day special. And I want to tell you that I'm grateful to be here with you today. And I look forward to next time. I'm Trina, Titus Lozano, pastoral counselor, licensed and ordained Christian minister. And I'm here to help you every Monday afternoon with your relationships and to give you advice. So please tune again next Monday. Hugs and high fives.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
Hey, travelers,